All right. Hello, everyone. Morgan Heitzma here with Scott Leroy Marketing. And today we're going to be talking about DocuSign 201. So if you're with us on the previous DocuSign class, we kind of learned how to get everything set up and connected within our KW command system, as well as how to start sending out forms to get signed and pushed back into your opportunity. Today's class with DocuSign 201, they may overlap with some of the information given on DocuSign 101 just to kind of help bridge the gap here. But given that, this may be a little bit shorter class here today than the DocuSign 101 because we covered a big majority in that previous class. So if those of you who missed the DocuSign 101 class, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat box down below for you guys. Again, just something to kind of look back onto. If you have any additional questions, please also send those in the chat box down below. So since we have a few extra minutes here today, please feel free if you have any questions regarding DocuSign, throw them in the chat box down below. If by chance I miss any questions, I'm also going to throw the email down below in our chat box. Support at scottleroymarketing.com. So if you have any additional questions or if I missed any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we should be able to kind of help address those a little bit further for you. So with that being said, we have our KW command sign-in page right here. So taking a look at this, I kind of like to start off within our KW command just to make sure that, that everything is set up and connected before we actually jump into our DocuSign. So if this is your very first time signing into KW command, if this is your very first time seeing this page right here, how I got to this sign-in page is going to be agent.kw.com. So if you go to agent.kw.com, the Google Chrome browser is going to be the best browser to use. We have seen issues regarding like Safari, Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer. But we have seen we have seen Google Chrome as well as Firefox be a pretty great browsers to use. So those would be the two browsers that we recommend. When you sign in to agent.kw.com, it will take your KW username and password right here. So your KW username should be the first letter of your first name, followed by your last name. If it's a pretty common combination, like John Smith, you may have a number associated at the end here. So, so as we are taking a look right here, this is going to be that same login that you use to sign into your KW command, your KW Connect, your mykw.kw.com. So we just kind of chalk this up to the KW username and password. So as we are signing in here, I do have a question. How do I get this stuff to populate right here? As we are taking a look at this would really depend on the browser, right? So some browsers allow you to kind of save login information. Since I'm using the Google Chrome browser, if I click on these three dots right here, you may have some additional settings to help you save these so you don't have to enter them every time. We'll go ahead and click. We'll actually use Scott's login right here. Everything's kind of set up over there. We'll click sign in here, and then this should enter us into the KW command platform. So taking a look at the KW command platform, this is going to be the home page here. And before we actually make our way to our like transactions and our documents, we want to make sure that everything's kind of set up. So again, if you're with us on DocuSign 101, this should be pretty familiar. Clicking on our name on the top right hand corner here and making our way to settings, this should be where our DocuSign connection is housed. Now, again, it's very important to note that this section right here, the KW command settings page, is where you go to initiate your KW branded DocuSign account. So for example, if you're using a paid DocuSign or a personal DocuSign that you've signed up outside of this settings page right here, it may be incompatible to be connected with KW command. So this is the magic section right here that allows us to claim or send over that registration invite for that KW branded DocuSign account. Now, I can go ahead and disconnect this and reconnect this. But for the sake of our time here, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of reference this section right here. We do have some additional information if you're wondering how to get this connected. But just taking a look down below right here, this should be the indicator saying, if you're wondering which email or which account is connected to this KW branded DocuSign account, it looks like my KW email address is the one that's already connected here. So again, if you're not quite sure which email is connected, it should reflect right down here. Now, once this is connected here, the second portion is going to be making sure that you have your contact added. So again, just taking a look inside of our database here, we can go ahead and search for an individual. I'll search for myself. And we'll go ahead and give this one a click right here. And you have the Morgan Heitzma at KW.com. This is a entered sample contact here, so you may have some missing information, but the primary information, if we're thinking about sending out a DocuSign forms to be signed, is going to be that client's name as well as their email address. Now, another great question is the KW DocuSign free or paid? So you don't have to pay any additional cost for this branded DocuSign here. I believe it's integrated into that the Market Center fees and things like that, but there's no additional cost when it comes to connecting your KW branded DocuSign account. So as we are taking a look, can you change the email address? You can change the email address for your DocuSign. However, it does take a specific set of steps in order to successfully swap over. So we have seen some issues arise where you kind of, if agents just jump in and just swap the email really quick, sometimes it may not. Sometimes it may lock the account out. So if you're wondering how to swap your email address, please feel free to send us a email at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I should be able to kind of give you some additional step-by-step instructions in the form of a quick tip video. As we are taking a look at this right here, since I have the name and the email address connected right here or added into this contacts profile, again, I don't really need to spend time filling anything else out unless I want to, right? The KW Command platform really draws off of your contacts. So the more information you have on your contacts, the more tools and resources will unlock for you. A great example is if we enter the home anniversary, then we'd be able to kind of set them up on a home anniversary smart plan, and so on and so forth. But for this demonstration today, we have this contact here. We have the ability to kind of check within the opportunities to see which opportunities this contact is associated with. Now, again, we have a full opportunities class as well. So again, I won't spend too much time on creating an opportunity, but just know that we have that for you as well. The green is going to be a listing. The orange is going to be a buyer. It really doesn't quite matter which side we jump into when we're looking at our DocuSign. So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and click the 123 Main Street. This should allow me to jump straight into the opportunity that I've created for this contact. And if we look inside of this opportunity here, we have details, seller profile, marketing, documents, offers, commissions, notes, and timeline. We're going to be heading to the documents section right here. So giving this a click right here inside of the 123 Main Street, we will have our listed, under contract, and closed. And depending on where we're at in these sections right here, you'll have this drop down. This drop down reflects the type of documents or forms that your market center is requesting. So we'll just go ahead and match up the document title with our form here. So again, they're looking for completed signed forms for us to be able to submit to our market center. Now, again, it looks like I've already connected a DocuSign account to this opportunity right here. But again, it's worth mentioning that we need to create the opportunity first, and then go into DocuSign rooms from the opportunity. if, for example, we were to just go to Docusign.com, and I'll go ahead and sign in here. If we were to go to Docusign.com and go to our rooms right here and just create a room from the back end, what will happen is, unfortunately, it will not be connected to that specific opportunity. So I'm inside my Docusign rooms right here. I can click on New, and I can create an opportunity from this way. However, when we go back and we try to submit forms to the Market Center, it won't be connected on the command side. So we always recommend creating the opportunity first, and then clicking on Start a Transaction here. Once we connect that DocuSign room, it'll be a white button that says Go to Transaction. Since we are right here, I'm going to click on Go to Transaction. I'm going to jump into that DocuSign room that we've created. And from within this DocuSign room right here, it looks like the previous class we pulled in a specific form just for our demonstration purposes. But taking a look right here, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this and start from scratch right here. Every time you create an opportunity and enter the DocuSign room, it's going to take you to this room right here with a blank canvas. So it'll say add documents to your room, and you can add those documents by clicking this blue add button on the top right hand corner here. Now, as we're taking a look right here, hey Beverly, I do see your question right here. I'm not quite sure, but if you were to reach out to us in our email support at scottleroymarketing.com, we'll be sure to double check that for you. It looks like today's calendar is DocuSign 201. As we're taking a look over here, moving into the DocuSign 201 like portion, because we kind of just covered a small a recap of DocuSign 101 from the last 14 minutes. But as we're taking a look at DocuSign 201, I kind of want to show some great tools and features within this platform here. So once you go ahead and actually get this set up and connected, much like we did just now, when you have a blank DocuSign room right here, there's a number of different avenues that you can go to kind of add information to make your signing process a little bit easier. As we're taking a look at this right here, before I add any forms or documents right here, I'm actually going to navigate over to the Details tab of this DocuSign room. As we're taking a look at this Details tab right here, this is going to be all of the information that's going to pre-populate on these DocuSign forms. Now, the only forms that are able to be pre-populated are going to be what we call power forms or DocuSign power forms. And as we are taking a look at these power forms, if you were to pull in like a PDF from your desktop, it may not auto-populate this information here for you. As we're taking a look and viewing all of these details right here, if we scroll down and are able to kind of take a look at each one of these sections and blocks right here, it'll actually let you know like who this information is for. So taking a look on the left-hand side right here, we'll have our room information. And this room information already pre-populated based off of that opportunity we're in. So 123 Main Street, we chose a listing here, 123 Main Street, 54632, and we should see that reflect when we come back over here and we scroll down. So here's the MLS ID, here's the city, Wisconsin, and here's that postal code. So already pre-pulled that information here for you. If you want to edit or update, say it missed some specific information, right? We can actually click this edit button on the top right hand corner here, and we can go ahead and add in some additional information. Since this was a listing that we pulled from right here, and the listing client is Morgan Heitzma, the listing agent is going to be Scott Leroy because we're in Scott's account right now. we'll see that automatically pre-populate. So Morgan Heitzma for the seller 1. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we don't have any seller 2 information, but when we scroll down, we see the listing agent will have Scott's information or your information populate right here. This will be recorded and placed on our YouTube page. It may take about 24 hours to process and upload, but it should be there in the next day or two. As we're taking a look at this, if I don't have any information, I can just simply place this in right here. Remember that contact that we chose only had the name and the email address right here. So again, if I wanted to type in a specific, say the country, let's just say we'll say the US, and then we'll choose a state here, we can go ahead and save that, and that should again pre-populate on our forms when we pull that in. So this is how you get that that information. This is also important to note too, because if you're pulling in documents and it has an incorrect name for your clients, right? This may be where it's pulling from. So we may have to go down here and check either the buyer or the listing, depending on what side of the transaction you're on. And we may have to just double check that that all this information is pulling through correctly. Now, taking a look at this, and I'm glad that we kind of talked about this first, because when we go and we start taking a look at our forms, pulling those in, I think it just makes a lot more sense just to know how this information is getting onto those forms. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click back over to our document section right here. I'm going to go ahead and click add, and I'm going to go ahead and click my DocuSign forms. Now, note there are some other sections here too. I believe California agents may still use zip forms. For those of you others that use zip forms, you'll have this ability to pull in right here. I will show you a couple other tips and tricks when it comes to your zip forms. If you try to just pull forms in from right here, it may keep asking you to sign in, but we'll go ahead and get that connected on the back end of this DocuSign to make sure that that it'll always just be available for you. Now, clicking add right here and clicking DocuSign forms, this is going to be where your market center forms as well as your board forms are going to live. So we have our groups as well as our libraries here. And basically one section is going to be for your market center and the other section is going to be for your board. They should be able to be easily identified. You'll have that market center number, right? And if we click down right here, we may have some additional information like residential buyer right here. We'll give that a click and we should see those additional bits of forms right here. If you are clicking through these forms and you see a section where where it says no access and you cannot click this to pull this in right here. Whoops. What we can do is we can make sure that that's connected on the back end when we go ahead and take a look at the zip forms too. So it's kind of like two sides of that same coin here. I'm going to pull one form in for now that's that I do have access for, that I don't need to quite set up. And again, this is just like a sample form that I pulled in for us to take a look at here. As we are discussing that no access, right? How we can kind of get that set up where we can pull those specific forms in. We can click on our name on the top right hand corner here, and then go ahead and click on preferences. And within our preferences here, this allows us to be able to connect those the board forms and the market center forms from within our DocuSign rooms. So clicking on integrations right here. Again, I know I did that kind of quick. So preferences and then integrations. There may or may not be something right here for you. If there's not, if it just says add provider, we can go ahead and give that a click, and it should pull up about 6 different options here for you. Something that may be a little bit hard to kind of see right here is going to be continue to company forms without validation. And if we give this a click right here, this is how we pull in our company forms, so our market center forms. I've already clicked on that link and I already pulled in the forms right here, so so it doesn't allow me to pull it in again. However, taking a look at our our realtor association, if we give this a click right here, this will allow us to be able to pull in our NRDS number, enter in our last name as well as our association. And once we hit validate right here, this should allow us to pull in our association's forms. So we typically suggest to have the company forms as well as your board forms, and that should allow you to really be able to send those documents out to your clients. Now, one thing to also take note of for those of you who use zip forms, it's going to be right up top here for you. So again, we can go ahead and give this a click right here. We'll enter in our zip forms username and password, and then that should continue to allow us to be able to pull either our transaction folders or just those blank forms from those libraries. So it kind of gives you a couple different options there. Now, as we take a look at this, I'm going to jump back over to our rooms here, and I can click on rooms up at the very top. And when we click on rooms, this should show us like all of the rooms that we've created for our opportunities here. Now, again, we do not suggest creating any brand new rooms from this button right here because, again, they won't be connected to your transactions. Giving a look at this, we can kind of jump back into our opportunities. Since I have quite a bit right here, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go back to the actual opportunity here and then click on go to transaction again. Now we're back into our documents section right here. We have this form pulled in. I didn't enter in a NRDS, so I may not have that available. But again, your Market Center form should always be available for you as long as you've validated and connected it. Let me pull in one more here. So taking a look at both of these forms right here, we have the ability to kind of click on these and just make sure that that information is pre-populated. As this other one's loading in right here, I'll see if it has some additional information that we can kind of see. Wait for this to load up right here. But you'll also have some blocks and some sections as well. So again, these are a result of the power forms within DocuSign. It pre-populated the seller information and the property address right here. Any other optional sections right here, this is going to be for you to fill out before we send out to our clients to sign. Okay, so as we're taking a look at this, please note that your clients will, even though it says optional buyer name too, this is strictly just for you. When you send this document out, your clients are not going to see these sections to be able to fill in. So you can type in your name. Oops. And then today's date and so on and so forth. And then when I close that, I save and close it. When I send this off to get a signature, we'll go ahead and use this one right here. We'll create an envelope. When we send this off to get a signature, again, it's worth noting because it's something that's new, a new update here from DocuSign within the past few months is, oh, well, it didn't show us. So I'll be sure to circle back and highlight that section that I was about to reference. But taking a look at this right here, we pulled in this form. Keep in mind that we had quite a bit of optional spaces that we could fill in. Okay, so I'm just going to use myself right here. I'm going to add Scott as the second signer. And I'm going to go ahead and, oops, and I think two signers are going to be fine right here for us. I'm going to hit next over here. And as we start to fill this in right here, again, this information will not be shown for your client. Okay, so I know it's a little confusing right here, but keep in mind when we pull in options for our tools on the left-hand side, when we pull in our signature for signer 1 and we pull in our signature for signer 2, depending on optional sections, if we say that, say, signer 1 has the option to sign this, it's not a required field, we can uncheck this right here. We can uncheck this one too. And even though they may look similar, we can still see the color and the outline of which signer needs to sign this. Since this is gray right here, again, keep in mind your signers won't be able to see these text sections. So let's go ahead and kind of take a look at that in real time. So we'll preview this. We can view as either Morgan being the signer or Scott being the signer. And once we see this right here, you'll see that your signers, it'll just look like a real document that's that has that information. Remember, we entered Scott Leroy's name right here. Again, it just kind of is part of that document. I'm going to back out of this really quick. Click on Actions. I'm going to save and close this. And when we get back to our documents section right here, I do also want to kind of highlight. That's a great question. Can you add text at that point? And I'm sorry that I didn't read that message before I moved on to this next screen here. If you are inside of the envelope, right? If you're inside of the envelope and you're filling it out, and there's still some sections within that power form that are optional for you, we can go ahead and fill that in, okay? So giving that click over here, we can still fill in this information. When we click on the text box, you should see on the right-hand side, let's see. There we go. We'll say 5,000, and that should pre-populate in here for you. So you should have the ability to do that right here. Think of this as your last call when it comes to filling out the rest of those optional fields. So I'll save and close this again here. Taking a look at our DocuSign room with our documents here, there is going to be a cool feature that can really help out as we're starting to get these signatures come back, signed, and as your room starts to get a little bit cluttered. And as we take a look, I only have 2 documents right here, but say I had just like 5 documents, right? Which still isn't quite a lot. If I had 5 documents in right here and I sent them out to get signatures, right? Once all parties have signed, those signed documents are going to come back here into this document section. You'll be able to tell the difference between a document that is signed and a document that is not signed based off of a green checkbox right here. So let me see if I can actually go into my envelopes here. We may be able to send out this envelope. And as we are kind of taking a look right here, let me go ahead and delete Scott's. And then let's go ahead and just send this over as a sample, right? I'm going to hit send right here. I'm going to wait a minute for that to send over into my my inbox. It looks like it just landed here. So again, pretty cool to be able to kind of see that in real time. And as we're clicking on this to review this document right here, there we go. We can hit continue, and we can kind of view that that section for what your clients are going to see when they sign. As I kind of take a look at this over here, the document section. Oh yeah, apologies. I need to actually sign this and send this back over to the folder here. So I'm going to just sign this right here. I'm going to hit finish. For your clients, once your clients sign a document, it'll ask them if they want to sign up. They don't need to have a DocuSign in order to sign these documents. However, at the very end, if they wanted to sign up, they can feel free to use that email that you sent to them and create a password to be able to sign in from then on. If they don't want to sign up for DocuSign, that's perfectly fine. We have these additional buttons at the very top here to download. So you can download the combined PDF right here. Here, let's try this again. Download one more time. And being able to download right here from your client's point of view is pretty handy, right? You also have the ability to print. So if your client wants to print this document, they can as well. As we're kind of going back here and taking a look at, let's see here, taking a look at this DocuSign room, I'm going to refresh this. And as we come back here, we should see that that we have a signed document right here. So as we start to kind of send documents out and as they start to come back signed right here, you can see that this section right here may start to get pretty cluttered and have a lot of forms that you have to navigate through. Another thing that may be kind of cumbersome is if we see KW 305 earnest money, you see that we have that same title for both forms. So if we go back to our DocuSign right here, sorry, if we go back to our opportunity and we choose our DocuSign, we have to select a working folder. And as you see right here, you have that signed earnest money form right here. Taking a look at our room docs right here and taking a look at all these different earnest money. So again, you can see that we may have a couple earnest monies with the same title, a couple forms with the same title right here in this drop down. We can actually adjust that inside of our document section by creating multiple folders. And again, right now we only have one working folder, which is our room docs. But if we click on our DocuSign right here and we click on actions, so it's going to be right next to the add button right here. We click on actions, we have an add folder option. If I click on this, I can label this anything I want to. So I'll label this sign docs. I'll hit create right here. And now I'm able to actually sort my documents out between which ones are signed and which ones are not. So now, again, I can go back to my opportunity. I can refresh. And I can filter just based off of the signed doc, so I can go ahead and enter this a little bit easier. Giving this a look again right here, there's going to be another section that that allows us to be able to create templates based off of the forms that are inside of our DocuSign forms right here. So as we're taking a look right here, and if we're adding forms in, we have the ability to click on this preview eyeball to kind of see what that form looks like. But if it says sample form right here, and if it does not allow you to pull in, chances are you may be signed in through the back end through DocuSign.com. So taking a look at this right here, if I wanted to change any of this information, or if I wanted to create a template based off of this information, right, I can actually go over at the very top right here. I can move over to My Docs. Give this a click here. And then as you see right here, we have a couple different sections. We have listing and My Documents. My document should pull in whatever I uploaded from my computer onto the DocuSign room. And then listing, you see we don't have anything really in here either. But if we navigate over towards this second three different options right here, we have forms as well as form template. Your form templates will be whatever templates you create based off of the forms right here. So for example, if I give this a click right here, you'll see all of the different forms that are currently connected with your DocuSign right here. So again, keep in mind that I don't have my NRDS connected, so there may or may not be specific forms that I can pull in and edit. But as we're taking a look right here, I can give any one of these forms a click to be able to kind of see. May want to edit this a little bit. Maybe I'll just put the agent's name. So I'll put my name, so I'll never have to worry about that, right? And what we can do from this point is we can actually use this as our form template. So seeing if we have any of these right here, I can actually edit this form template. And being able to add these additional informations allows you to be able to kind of, again, just send it out off a little bit easier with a little bit less stress. So property address, 123 Main Street. Again, we're only filling in the pre-populated information that we would normally always fill in, right? So we wouldn't want to pre-populate any information that may be changing. I'll go ahead and I'll give this a click right here. Maybe I'll give this a click. This is a terrible form to use as an example, but again, it's pretty good to be able to see that you can adjust this. We can save and close, right? And once we go ahead and find this, we can go ahead and view the different templates that are available. So I'm going to search for this form within my DocuSign room right here. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. This would be where you'd add like the legal footer, right? The links, the information that would always typically be on these forms that may not be presented at originally. So giving a click back over here, made my way back to my room here. If I go ahead and add a DocuSign form, I'm just going to go ahead and try to find that. Just going to go ahead and find that same form here. And as you see right here, it should give me the ability, there we go. It should give me the ability to choose which template I want to use. So after you go ahead and edit and update these templates, you can go back here. I always try to refresh as much times as I'm clicking back and forth, right? But once you refresh, you should be able to kind of choose which template you're actually looking for. And I'll choose this one, and then I can go ahead and add it to my room right here. Now, there may be some question on templates, right? We can create templates much like we did from all the forms that are currently inside of our DocuSign, right? But if we wanted to kind of create our own template here, this would be on the DocuSign e-signature side. So the way that I like to look at this is DocuSign rooms and switch to e-signature, and DocuSign e-signature are two sides of the same coin. Most people on a standard a personal DocuSign account, they'll only have one side of that coin, which is e-signature. But since we are branded in with KW, we have both sides of the coin. So switching to e-signature here, this should allow us to be able to create any kind of templates that we personally want to utilize or send to other like team members. So switching back to the e-signature side right here, first and foremost, it's important to note if we do have that black banner right here. This black banner just lets us know we are inside of a KW branded DocuSign account. If it's dark blue, if it's light blue, if it says you have this many sends left or this many envelopes left, chances are you are not in the correct DocuSign account. Giving this a click right here, we're inside of like pretty much DocuSign.com. If we look at the very top right here, we'll have a section called templates. And giving templates a click right here, mine may be a little messy within my templates, but giving a click right here, you may not have really anything in here. I have a few templates, so I can actually click this drop-down arrow right next to use. I can delete a few of these to make things a little bit easier. And again, as we're going and creating templates out, we can go ahead and click on this new button right here. We can click on create template. And we should be able to kind of create a template name. See how creative I am. We'll choose template name right here, right? And we'll give a good description of what this template entails. So again, if you're using this for a specific event, if you're using this for a class, for a presentation, for an open house, for even just like a signing, right? Like you have the ability to kind of add and edit these accordingly. So right here, it'll ask us to add documents. Since we're no longer inside of the KW DocuSign rooms, right? Since we're on the other side of the coin in e-signature, this will ask us to upload documents from our browser, from our computer. Giving a look right here, we do have the Google Drive, the Dropbox, but we do not have the DocuSign forms. So just keep that in mind. This is our personal template that we're going to go ahead and create. So I may have a DocuSign form right here. We can go ahead and upload this right here. Again, any other forms that you want to kind of adjust and edit. And as we scroll down right here, we have that signing order. Now, for me personally, I would say less is more in this instance, because as we go and as we start to send or pull these templates, use these templates here, you may want to start entering different people's information at different points in time, right? So we may want to either enter in your information at, so you can have that at the very end, or we can just kind of leave that blank. We'll go ahead and hit next over here. And again, this allows us to have that same sort of sign section. I didn't add any individuals, so I don't have the ability to kind of pull that information over, but that's perfectly fine because I may want to kind of adjust this a little bit later. Save and close right here. And then we'll have that template name. And at any point in time now, once I created that template, I can go ahead and hit use right here. This will pull me into, again, starting that envelope. So again, since I didn't add anybody, now at this point, I can start to add individuals and hit next. And then I can start adding my e-signature and stuff. So if you have a number of different documents, it would be up to you if you want to add yourself or somebody first. You can just have a sample name so you can enter these signatures. And then when it comes time to use the template, you won't have to kind of enter these in every time. So I'm going to back out right here. I'm going to hit X at the top left. I'm going to discard this template. But as you see right here, we do have that template name. And if you're working with a team, this can be a great tool because it allows you to be able to kind of share, create one template that maybe every team member may want to use. And then you can share it to them. We can do that by clicking right next to this use button, that drop down arrow again, much where I deleted. And at the very bottom, we have that download option. So you see it'll download as a zip file right here. And when you go ahead and send this to your other teammates, they can go straight back to this template section right here. They can click on this new, much like we did when we created that template, and they can upload this template right here. We'll give that a click. We'll upload this template, and then it'll say template uploaded. So again, it's very easy to be able to send these templates out to other individuals if you need to. Now, there's going to be one other section that I did not cover, and that's create power form, right? We talked a little bit about creating power forms, and that's information that draws from those specific sections, right? So again, if I want to create a power form right here, we can go ahead and select any one of these templates that we already created. We'll choose this one that we just uploaded. Let's see, let's choose a different one, see if that allows us to. Well, you should be able to pull, you should be able to pull in and create these power forms. But if I'm clicking down right here, you do have those shared folders. And let's see if we are able to kind of pull in a power form from one of our market centers to be able to kind of adjust right here. So let's go ahead and use the buyer's disclosure. We'll add right here. And as we're going down right here, you'll see this allows us to be able to kind of create this power form. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and create this power form just because I don't think that we quite need it. But I mean, heck, why not, right? We'll go ahead, we'll click on this. The URL for this power form can be altered. If I wanted to send this power form out to somebody now, we can go ahead and click on this new tab right here. And we can click on this link. We can enter this link in, and this should pull up here for us. So, so this kind of allows you to kind of create that power form situation. I don't think you're quite going to be navigating inside the power forms quite as much, but again, there is some additional information here for you. How do you add an internal document that all of your agents can access to register for transaction coordinator? That you know what? That's a great question. And as we have some time right here, let's go ahead and dive into to the conversation of having individuals join your your DocuSign room, as well as being invited into your contact book. So if I get back over here again, I'm just gonna kind of exit out of these new tabs. I'm gonna open up into my DocuSign rooms again. If we take a look right here, right next to documents, you'll have people. And if we give people a click right here, this is everybody who's a part of this DocuSign room. Now, we have a few different market centers connected here, so you may not have quite as much individuals in here. But one thing to keep in mind is if you see market center administrator, or if you see your market center, right, please do not remove these. These basically are your connection to your KW command. So so we don't want to remove these. Otherwise, your DocuSign may be altered. But as we're taking a look right here, if you have any transaction coordinators that you want to invite to your room, we can go ahead and click on this invite button on the top right hand corner right here. This should allow you to enter in that individual's email, first name, last name, as well as what side of the transaction they're currently on. So you have buy side, list and buy side, and then refinance. As I don't have anybody in particular that I can put in right here, we also have this address book button. So I may just pull from this address book here and invite somebody to my room. Now we have a directory as well as an address book. So this will really depend on who you've entered into your address book, as well as who may be connected within your market center and DocuSign rooms right here. So as you see right here, let's just go ahead, click somebody. And then we can also view this permission and room role right here. So if we say that that this is an agent owner right here, we can view the permissions and we can see what does agent owner allow this individual to access, right? So agent owner will allow to create rooms, export room history, reopen rooms, so on and so forth. So you may want to adjust this accordingly depending on who you're going to invite to that DocuSign room, right? Just do that. And again, I can go ahead and hit invite here. This will send an email to this individual through this email address right here, and they can choose to accept the invite. Once they accept the invite, they should be able to jump into their DocuSign through DocuSign.com. They should be able to jump in and participate within that DocuSign room. Now, I'm going to cancel this right here. That's inviting people to view this section right here. Okay, so this is people that you're gonna be that are going to be helping you with your transaction, or that needs to view certain things inside of your DocuSign room. If you want to invite clients, not invite. If you just want to add clients to your contact or your address book, that's going to be found on the top right hand corner by clicking on contacts right here. If we click on contacts, you will see that directory as well as that address book that we mentioned previously. That directory is going to have your market center individuals, as well as those that are participating in your DocuSign rooms. And then on address book over here, this is where we can go to add individual contacts. So say John Smith is going to be the buyer that's going to be purchasing, right? We'll go ahead and paste that right here. We'll enter in John Smith's email. That's fine. And then we go ahead and hit save right here. And then what that does is that actually adds John Smith to my section right here. So now any point in time, if I'm going and I'm sending out DocuSign envelopes to be signed, right? Let's go ahead and again, we're going to open up that opportunity right here. Once we go to that that envelope to be signed right here, this should now allow you to be able to add John Smith, right? So if we go ahead and click on an envelope that's not signed yet, We'll click add right here. Oops, sorry. We'll click on the create envelope section. This is what I wanted to kind of talk about previously right here. We mentioned this in DocuSign 101, where over the past few months, DocuSign created an update right here. And essentially, what this update is a pop-up that says, do you want us to pre-populate your buyer 1 or your buyer 2 into this document that you just selected? You can select one, you can select both, or you can select none, right? We'll click on continue right here. It'll say, are you sure you don't want to add anyone? I'm going to say, yes, I'm sure, because we're going to go ahead and do that on the original next page right here. Wait for this to load up. And then when we scroll down right here and we type in John Smith, we'll give this for a second to pre-populate. You'll see that it has the John Smith. And again, it all depends on how many John Smiths that you have on here. So let's see if I can. We have quite a bit of John Smiths, as you see right here. So I can actually just click on that address book one more time. I can click on address book right here, and we can see that John Smith at email.com. We can hit apply right here, and then we can continue onward. So again, depending on how many names kind of pop up right here, it may be a little bit quicker just to add that address book. And within the address book, directory, all this has a search bar as well. So again, just know that if your contacts are in here, you should be able to still search for them. Oh gosh. There we go. John Smith. So you have that ability to kind of pull those in very quickly. If that's that previous page, like please select buyer 1 or anybody on the signing side within these, just know that that you can bypass that. Okay. One last thing that I kind of want to mention is if you're sending a DocuSign out, right? Let me try sending this to myself one more time. Give this a second here. So I'm going to send this to myself one more time right here, and say I accidentally sent this envelope out and I made a mistake, right? Say we'll go back over here, we'll give this a click. We'll see that it's currently waiting on Morgan to sign before it goes off to the next signers. If we realize that somehow we made a mistake and say, oh, I meant to enter my Scott Leroy email instead of my KW email, right? Or same thing for your clients. I made a typo on the email address or the name or so on. If you sent a form out already or an envelope out already to be signed and it needs to be adjusted, you should be able to correct this envelope by clicking that correct button. And this should allow you to kind of proceed forward as if you're going to resend this out. And when you correct this all and you send it out, right? Morgan Heitzman SLM.com, right? And once we go ahead and make those adjustments and send it out, we can go ahead and correct anything that we need to, and then it should send off again. And if you have multiple signers on this, it will send back to the first signer, again, because we are altering the document. So all parties need to kind of read the newest version of that document as it's being signed. So keep in mind, you have that ability to correct the envelope. If somebody just did not receive the envelope, you can also resend it over again. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with that. If you have any additional questions, I'm going to stay over a few extra minutes. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching this recording at a later date. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com.